Hello, this is Beth with another Froud's Fairy card, and it's himself. This is probably one of my favorite cards in this whole deck. I have many favorite cards, but just the energy of this card, and that you have the hits on the heart, the third eye, and the crown chakras. And there's something just so intense about how he looks. And he's kind of an interesting character because he is very much a masculine creature. He is very much a protector, but he's also a nurturer. There's an aspect that we kind of gets cut out many times from the male archetype of nurturing, of caring, that he is definitely a protector. He protects both the hunted and the hunter. He sees how both of those can be sacred at the same time. He embodies so much of that kind of energy of male protectiveness. But he's also a spark of life, a spark of breath, and he nurtures with that spark. He's not just, his protection isn't just how we would normally think of protection as more violence or using your body, physical sense. Maybe that's better, like protection in the physical sense. He can also protect by providing that spark of life, that breath essence that he carries within his heart. Yeah, I find him to be very complex when working with him, and he's someone who's shown up in the past 6 months a lot. So I've been seeing him frequently over the past half a year or so. And when he shows up, there's a certain amount of energy that's going to come in. That whatever you do is a little more energized than normal, or a lot more energized than normal sometimes. Looking at my notes here. He has a natural law of life force, a shaman, healer. He embodies all those kind of things that people think of with shaman, or even witch. I would say more witch for me because I don't consider myself a shamanic practitioner, even though I do have some overlap at times. He's the living bond between all life. He is the breath that moves everything. And I think part of that movement is that breath that he has, that life spark that will infiltrate into your life and really sink into it and go deep. He's not a card of shallow superficiality as far as masculinity goes. When you look at like Tarot and like say, who would he be? I would really say there's not a correspondence so much with him. Some of them very much, of course, you can pick a correspondence with a Tarot. He's not an emperor though. He's not a magician. He's more primal. He's more based in the earth than anything you find in Tarot, and much more gritty in a way when you work with him. Yeah, he's a lot of fun actually to have come in. Here's something I wrote down. Willpower is channeled for good of all. For me, much of himself is kind of that aspect of using your will and your heart and combining them together so they're working as one, not like your will taking over and doing everything not in conjunction with your heart, or living too much from the heart but not enough will, so you kind of just stall because the will's not in conjunction with the heart and the heart's not talking to the will, and it's like things just go when that happens in your life. And he kind of brings that solidification of heart and will together. And because willpower is really more of a practice of something you just do. The more you practice willpower, for lack of a better word, and the more you work your solar plexus and bring that chakra energy in, the easier the will gets. But then you need to align it with the heart, because that one chakra is also, dipping into the heart chakra. So they're very much combined. And then he has that massive opening with the crown chakra to just, breath of life, the spark of life, of letting it just whoosh in, so and then between the knowing whoosh and the alignment of the will and the heart, bam, that's some power there. And that's the current state, that he lives in that state all the time. We just touch it, we flow in and out of it. It's like we got it, and then we're like, oh my God, oh shit, we're doubting it. And then we flow out of it, and then we flow back in, and we're in constant flux, whereas he has the ability to live suspended in that energy. And that's a pretty amazing place to be. He also has erotic fertility. He's got a pretty intense look there. He's got those lowers. I just love this card and those stars in his hair. There is also the erotic and fertility aspect to him. He would correspond to the Bright Mother. Or is it, no, Bright Mother or Lady of Harvest? I'll say Lady of the Harvest. I don't know. I don't really, as far as like pair up this kind of alternating area we're in too much. They do kind of, the male and the female at this point in Froud's is kind of alternating between different energies of the male female. But he's a powerhouse when you work with him. I very much have enjoyed working with his energy. When you're cutting off this energy of himself, when you're blocking it, that's when you feel very disempowered. If you see someone who is very arrogant and aggressive and kind of, which can often be masking feelings of inadequacy, that's himself when it's blocked. When you're cutting off that flow from those three chakras together and not letting them just let them be open and flowing, that's when you kind of see someone who's kind of arrogant and aggressive and is like very angstful, warlike behavior. It disempowers, as opposed to using that empowerment sense of that dance of life, that spark of life that he embodies. But yeah, if you find yourself working with him, he's an interesting guy. It's hard to sometimes express the feeling with the energies that come with Froud's fairy deck, at least for me, because I work with them very much as living creatures and living energies. So it's not, even more so than, well, tarot has the same thing, but this one has a different energy than tarot, because you're dealing with the fae, you're dealing with that within the earth that has a very long tradition, that's much older than tarot. So you have this enormous well of energy to tap into with this deck. And with the she, which we're currently in, and he's part of the she, they're much more tangible and understandable than the singers were. The singers are such huge entities that it's hard to really touch them and know them. But with the she, you can really move in and get to know them. And you also have to be wary with the she, because they're not so interested in giving you the easy path. If you won't take their easy path, if you won't listen to them, they'll trip you up. They'll let you know. They'll find a way to get it, and even if it's dropping, it on your head so you can't miss it. So they're a little bit more volatile, and he's one that, if you're not paying attention to him, you're moving into that disempowered aggression and arrogance. He can let you know, and those lessons aren't always so pleasant. So I always suggest with this one, take the easy route and listen to them and do what they tell you to, because it's almost always good. Because if you don't, then you know they're going to send someone to, like, Glockner to trip you up and plop you on your face. We have a long way before we even get to him and the challengers. That is himself, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back next month with another Froud's Fairy card. Bye bye.